Hello everyone and welcome to our session titled Meet Sherlock, the knowledge bot about knowledge. With all the hoopla about chatbots and the introduction of artificial intelligence as a means of providing services to our customers, I wanted a deeper understanding of AI and what it takes to develop an effective bot adoption strategy. After a few weeks of research, I decided to implement a chatbot on my website dedicated to the knowledge management culture. My name is Julie Mohr, and I'm an author and international speaker. I help organizations through consulting and teaching to adopt best practices in technical support, IT service management, and knowledge management. I'm a graduate of The Ohio State University with a degree in computer science and a master's in education from the University of Phoenix. I'm a certified ITIL expert, certified help desk director, and certified governance IT professional. In this session, we will discuss what a chatbot is and how it can be used as an additional channel for customer support. We will also walk our attendees through the implementation of Sherlock, the knowledge bot about knowledge, and the important role that knowledge plays in ensuring success. We will also present a high-level bot adoption strategy. Let's begin with a fundamental question. What is a bot? A bot is defined as a task-oriented dialogue agent designed for a specific task to mimic short conversations with customers, usually for the purpose of exchanging ideas or information or completing short, well-defined tasks. A bot is really a program that contains information or rules used to interact with customers. And depending on the bot you choose, it can use either artificial intelligence or natural language processing or both. Many of these bot systems can integrate with other tools. And one of the most sought-after benefits is the ability to automate interactive conversations with customers. The first step in a chatbot strategy is to determine what publishing platform you want to use. The publishing platform is where your users will go to access the chatbot. In my case, I wanted to develop and implement a chatbot for free. And the available publishing platform that I have at my disposal is WordPress. Once the publishing platform is identified, the next step is to determine the chatbot development platform to use with your chosen publishing platform. I decided to go with my chatbot, which integrates Dialogflow AI engine into my WordPress site. My chatbot provides a chat window at the bottom of each page of the website. Now, most support organizations view bots as an additional channel to provide support for customers. And bots can potentially answer questions from customers or even provide a mechanism to screen customers. One of the greatest advantages is 24/7 by 365-day support with an immediate response. And if it works effectively, it can actually decrease support demand and shift knowledge directly to the customer. Bots can also be used to automate tasks like purchasing and marketing, and a bot can also be used to personalize the experience once the bot is aware of who the customer is. A bot can also reduce the cost to serve our customers, and that will only happen after the initial investment in the infrastructure and training to make the bot effective. Now, just a word of caution. While the promise of bots is really exciting, it is very important to have a deep understanding of your customers first. You also need relevant content about your customers and an established level of trust. You do not want to launch a bot without a clear strategy and defined goals. Many of the customers' experiences with bot have been less than positive, and the customers are quick to share their poor experiences publicly. Now, one of the most surprising outcomes of the chatbot adoption was the ease of implementation. Literally within 5 minutes, I had a chatbot up and running on my site. Of course, the bot had no knowledge to use to answer questions, but it was incredibly easy to do. Installation really required 3 primary things: match the bot to my color scheme on my website, name it, and identify this field that's called how it's powered. After signing up for a Dialog Flow account, I was provided with an access token that I entered into my chatbot settings. I set the input text to ask something ... This text is what is shown in the bot to entice customers to type something in. Next, I changed the color for the loading dots and the request background color to match my site's color theme. And pretty much I left all the other settings on the default. On the Overlay tab, I set the header background color. The next 2 settings really require a little bit of thought. Now, I chose Sherlock as my chatbot's name, thinking that it was a fun name and that it would capture people's attention. But what I found is as people began using the chatbot, they started to ask questions about Sherlock and Watson that have absolutely nothing to do with knowledge management, but instead are much more focused on the mythical character from books and movies. I thought about changing the name later, but felt it might be more fun to actually develop a personality into the chatbot with a play on Watson, the IBM AI platform, and Sherlock, the bot about knowledge. The last decision was the powered by text field. Essentially, this is a small bit of text that's displayed in the bot that tells the customer the origin of the knowledge. Here, I'm a little bit of a Trekkie, so here I chose to use the collective. Now, here are the results of my chatbot integration. Notice the name, powered by, and the prompting question with the choices in the live chatbot. Now, after logging into the Dialog Flow site, the first thing I did was click on the Get Started link on the home page and began working through the online tutorial. An extensive online help documentation gave me the basics that I need to get started. And then the next step in the implementation is just to figure out how to add knowledge in the form of questions and answers to the chatbot platform system. The first thing I did was to update the default response to the question, "What is your name?" Each question and answer is added into the system by creating an intent. The intent that I needed to edit was called name. In the name intent, I entered various ways that someone can ask about the name of the chatbot. Notice that the word name is also individually added as a training phrase. Keyword use is important as the system will connect any question entered that has the word name in it to responses listed in the intent. The next step is to add the preferred responses into the intent. I chose to add only 2 responses. I also did not add additional responses that would provide more of a dialogue around the name question. For example, I could have asked, "What is your name?" as a follow-up question to start an extended dialogue. Using the knowledge collected over time, I began adding as many intents as possible, trying not to repeat any questions, but instead to add similar questions to one intent. It's important to think about a strategy for naming the intents, as very quickly it becomes difficult to find the right intent to add content to when you have similar questions and answers to add. To train Sherlock, I had to open up each user's requests and then match each of the individual questions with existing intents or create new intents. The system attempts to match each one of the questions with existing intents and sometimes makes mistakes that need to be fixed. In other cases, completely new questions require time to develop a new intent. If a question is correctly matched to an existing intent, then if the question is new, it's simply adding to the new training phrase in the existing intent. While this may sound confusing, training the bots is a relatively easy thing to do, but it is time-consuming the more the bot is used. Now, this visitor asked several questions. 5 of the questions have no matching intents, and 1 question is matched to the wrong intent, and 3 are matched to existing intents correctly. The matching occurred automatically by the system upon the words that were used by the user. Training the chatbot is simply a review of the requests and making sure that the corrects have correctly matched intents. Another part of implementing a chatbot is monitoring the success of Sherlock using analytics. Dialog flow provides visibility not only to the number of sessions, but also a visualization of how knowledge is being used. All of my research pointed to one thing that I needed to make sure that the chatbot implementation would be successful, and that's knowledge. Use that knowledge to map out scenarios that fulfill your customers' needs, and it's also important to capture knowledge today that can be used to feed the bot when you decide to implement one in the future. Now, as the Sherlock example shows, knowledge plays a very important role in the successful adoption of a bot into the support environment. Begin today by developing a deep understanding of your customers. Who are they? What questions do they have? What services do they use? What do the customers need from us? And what problems or issues are they facing? Then you need to map the existing knowledge into the bot's underlying structure using the form of the intents and responses. It's important to identify important metadata as well that can help to better understand the customer's intent so that an appropriate response is actually selected by the system. The greatest opportunity in technical support is the transactional knowledge captured in the request fulfillment and incident management processes, as well as general questions and answers. Using knowledge-centered services and focusing on capturing knowledge in the customer's context maps really closely to the intent field. And then the technical analyst response maps very closely to the responses field. The organization context actually provides the metadata to improve the intelligence of the bot in mapping intents to the correct responses. Let's take a closer look at how this works. In a traditional KCS structure of a knowledge article, we have 4 major sections: the issue, environment, the cause if we know it, and the resolution. In the chatbot intent, we have the question entered into the training phrases and the answer in the response. However, this doesn't exactly match up between the KCS structure and the chatbot intent. In many cases, especially for technical support, we may need to combine the issue and the environment statements in the chatbot training phrases. In this example, we have a KCS structured article shown on the left and the intent on the right. In the training phrases, I combine the issue statement, how to change styles of a table, and the environment, Microsoft Word 360, into a single training phase in the intent. How do I change styles of a table in Microsoft Word 360? Some customers may have not posed the question with the version of the product, so I can create a training phrase as how do I change my table in Word? In this case, I may need to create a follow-up question asking what version of Word are they using. Having the answer clearly written for the customer means that little needs to be done to the response. It's almost a direct copy of what's included in the KCS article. As the bot is used and we find that the customers ask the same question but in a different way, we can add additional training phrases and make possible changes to the response. As more training phrases are added, the matching of the customer's question to the response is more often matched correctly. This is the type of training that will be required to make the bot successful in technical support. One final note before we move on from this example. A chatbot will become more conversation-like and thus easier for the customer to use when we build the knowledge as a conversation versus just a simple question and answer format. Ideally, we would want an interaction that mimics a conversation. Here is an ideal conversation with the customer for the sample KCS knowledge article. The bot says, "Hello, how can I help you today?" The customer responds, "How do I change my table in Word?" The bot then asks, "What version of Word are you using?" The user responds, "I think I'm using Microsoft 360. Is that what you want to know?" The bot can then figure out that the customer asked another question and answer yes, but then also provide the solution. Highlight the table with your mouse, right-click and select Borders and Shading, select your options and click OK. Just the sheer number of variations of this simple scenario are mind-boggling. The more we train the bot, the more likely this will result in a positive interaction with the customer. If we don't provide enough training phrases and responses, the bot is likely to make the wrong pairings and provide a confusing or incorrect response to the customer. Now, the implementation of a chatbot is relatively easy and the tools have a well-documented process. But while that technology is easy, it will be essential to establish a strategy that will allow the organization to experiment with this emerging channel, learn from the experience, and then develop a more comprehensive approach over time. Based upon my experience with Sherlock, I would start with the structured data captured in the relevant context. Then use the technical analysts to improve that knowledge through reuse, but in the assisted support model. Then before I would actually introduce the bots, I would launch the knowledge in the self-service portal and get an understanding of how effectively the knowledge works. And if the knowledge is effective, I can then use it to train the bots more effectively. Once you believe your bot is ready, it's important to first combine bots with the live agents to correct responses and improve the relevancy of the knowledge. Again, if you find that the bot is working and there are fewer and fewer updates and modifications, then it should be safe to launch the bot to your internal customers. Now, be sure to measure the success and monitor for any additional training that's needed as the environment changes. And if you have external customers, the next step is to then launch the bot externally. As we wrap up our discussion on developing an effective chatbot strategy, let me just say that artificial intelligence is an exciting, emerging field that can help us not only to serve our customers in new ways, but provide incredible insight into the customer experience. Please feel free to give Sherlock a try at https://theknowledgeculture.com. Your questions will then be added to the collective. And if you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at jules@julielmohr.com or connect with me on your preferred social networking platform. A special thanks to ComAround for inviting me to participate in the Inspiration Day 2018. We're living in some pretty exciting times, and the idea of contributing to the industry related to the power of knowledge in the world of digital transformation is quite an honor for me, and I want to thank everyone very much for inviting me to participate. Thank you so much for attending my session, Meet Sherlock, the knowledge bot about knowledge. And thank you for attending ComAround's Inspiration Day 2018.